And it's on. I'm ready.
Great. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Troy IDA meeting here on September 18th. At first, I'm going to pass the mic over to Steve as I see some new faces here and we have some new members joining the team.
Okay, thank you. And I'm unmuted, right?
You are.
Okay. So we have two replacements with a loss of Paul Carroll as a retirement from the city. He resigned, and our new appointment to that position is Latasha Gardner, who also works here in City Hall. Hi, Latasha. She also has a real estate background or works in real estate, and she's a member of the union here, and she is a pleasure to work with. So welcome aboard, Latasha. And
Welcome, Latasha.
Josh.
Thank you.
And also Josh Chapone. Tina Erzon was on an expired term, and Josh has I've worked with Josh on a number of, well, he's been involved. So he lives on the east side. He is, he's been involved with us on the zoning ordinance redo as well. He's a good, great community person, knows the city well, lives on the east side, grew up in the South Troy. And it's great to have you aboard, Josh, as well. Thank you.
Great. Welcome aboard, everybody.
And, yeah, and someday we'll have an in-person meeting and everybody can meet everybody.
All right. The second item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the July 17th board meeting. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Make the motion.
Oh, what just happened?
Anasha.
Anasha made the motion. We have a second.
I'll second it.
Susan?
Susan?
Susan.
Anasha made the motion. Susan second.
And I will note, some eagle-eyed folks on Facebook noticed there's a small typo in the location of Posting Hill Place. It says in the Old Irish Mist. It should say north of the Old Irish Mist site. So,
Noted.
in that correction, we can.
All right. We got good eyes out there. Any opposed to the minutes from the July 17th meeting? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
Aye.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Steve, I'm going to pass it over to you now regarding item number 3, regarding the Lion Factory Commerce application.
Okay, so basically what we have here is this is the standard manufacturing building at I forget the address, between 120th and 121st Street on 2nd Street. It is broken out into 2 components. It is basically the redevelopment of a 246,000 square foot building to have 151 apartments on the upper floors. And in order to retain the commercial use on the ground floor, there's the second application. Somebody's making a lot of noise. Who's not muted? I don't know.
Yeah, if everybody
guys could
mute their mic for now, and just unmute yourself if you have a question, please. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Yeah, it's gone. Which is a reuse. Again, the same thing. It is the same building. It retains 7 jobs, creates 23 within the first year, and it is 35,000 square feet of that building. So I don't think Justin Miller has to introduce this. This is basically, do you have to introduce this, Justin, or do we just go directly to the presentation from Lion?
Just in the general background, we have one building facility that's being developed in what is proposed to be 2 condominium units. The developer and applicant are taking this approach to keep leveraged low-income housing tax credits and other incentives relating to the housing in one condominium unit with 151 apartments. And then a related project entity will own the condominium unit on the first floor that will host the existing manufacturing and future commercial uses. What we have is the application for each of those components. And I believe we have Larry Regan on board for today to provide a little bit of a background on himself and his development team and the project.
Thank you, Justin.
Yep.
Should I proceed?
Yes.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for having us on the Zoom meeting call today. I'm represented today along with the current building owner. I see you here. I see you down below. I'll let you unmute yourself and say a couple words of introduction about how we came to be together and how we're approaching the project as partners. And then I'll take it back to explain the proposal to the IDA members and the public.
Hello, my name is Christian Arakelian. I'm the managing member of the Arkelians. We've been in Troy at the Lion Factory we started off in downtown Troy back in 1924 when my great-grandfather invented the double buttonhole machine, and then we had a factory down in downtown Troy, and then back in the early 70s, we relocated to the Lion Factory. So we've been there for since then, and we had a really good run for a long time, and the building's really just too big, and we're looking forward to this opportunity partnering with Larry and his company, who's unbelievably good at these developments, and my family is looking forward to partnering with him going forward, and really a great partnership for Lansingburg and what it's going to do for the neighborhood. And we're going to be staying on staying there on the first floor, so we still have jobs there, and we're looking forward to partnering with Larry, and still working, still doing the manufacturing and clothing just on the first floor, and that's about it.
Great. Thanks, Christian.
Great. Thank you, Christian. We checking with you.
Hang on, Larry, you broke up.
David and your whole family. And I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, it's coming in and out pretty bad.
My problem is that where we are, the wireless is not so great. Can you guys hear me?
No, can't hear you.
We can't hear you, Larry.
It may help if you turn off your video. Okay. We'll be able to hear you, I think, better. The connection may work better without video if you can turn that off.
Okay. Or exactly. Let's see how. I guess I can. Is that any better?
Can you call in maybe? Is that possible?
That seems to sound a little bit better without video.
I still see it. Looks like it's
maybe I can do that. I'm gonna think it's going on. Got the video?
Say hello.
Larry, say
Hello?
it again. Yep. Larry, are you still on the phone? If you can hear us.
Be better without the video?
It still
Say a
sounds
nice long
spotty.
sentence for it. Yeah, say a nice long sentence for us.
All right, can you hear me now?
with that
That was
sentence, yes.
okay. Keep an eye on me if you can see me, and if I'm shaking my head no, I can't hear you. Likewise,
No,
everybody, shake
I'm
your head
sorry,
no when you can't hear.
I can hear all of you.
No.
You can hear all of me. I will. Is that okay?
Larry,
It's
it's
not
still
working.
pretty.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Do you want to try and call in? Does your phone work better? I'll give you the phone number to call. It's on your invite. All right. So should I give a, well,
Should we come back to
wait.
these items?
Do you want to have me do a quick executive director's report while we're waiting? And then when Larry comes on, we can jump back.
Yeah, I think that works. All right, we're gonna put Lion Factory until Larry, gets some service and is able to present. I'm gonna put that on hold for now. We're gonna move down to line item number 5 with the executive director's report. Steve?
Okay. So I would say again, at the end of this meeting, we're going to have a budget and finance committee meeting for both the IDA and the CRC to, and I'll run through some draft budgets for you that need to be adopted at the October meeting, just so you can get a first look at where we're coming from with them. So again, that'll be after this meeting, immediately following. We'll go into those two budget and finance meetings. Let's see, we have DeFazio's and Riverwalk are two pilots still that are approved, and we're waiting to close, and they look like they are gearing up for a closing soon, hopefully this year still. Let's see. We previously approved an expenditure on my part for $1,600 to $2,000 for computers and related work for working remotely, and those are being purchased right now at a cost of about $1,600. I would also like to pay for an economic development course in economic development finance that Dylan Turek is going to take. It's 6 courses. It's development finance. It gives him a certified professional accreditation. It helps with our South Troy projects, King Fields redevelopment, and other projects that we have underway. So the 6 courses from the Community Development Finance Agency is a $2,750 course. So he'll be taking that, and I'll be looking over his shoulder as well as we do that. Let's see. And what else do I have to talk about? The City Station North, I'm in continued discussion with them. The project is slow. It's not dead. They're just continue to get their ducks in a row for that. And I actually did speak on 669 River Street, which was approved quite some time ago. They were having troubles with financing. It looks like they may be bringing in another partner. So I'll talk with Justin about what we need to do for that project. And I think that covers, other than to say that it's been a real slow year with COVID as far as deals happening and putting them together and income for the city, or for the IDA, but we will talk about that during the budget and finance meeting. Larry, are you back on?
Is I got a question. Is the River Street project is the one with the that's
669 River Street is the paint factory across from the L House.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Any questions for Steve regarding the executive director's report? Any other questions?
Steve, I'm back if you can hear me.
I can hear you pretty good
We can hear you,
now.
Larry.
Yeah.
Can you guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a little static, but it
Okay.
sounds like we can hear you.
It's a better connection, a little fuzzy, but we'll let you know.
All right. I'm so sorry about all this. I have trouble connecting in my office, and where I am is difficult, but it's team. I'm happy.
Larry, I don't know if you can hear us, but again, you're
Hello?
cutting out again.
From your team that can present?
Let me try. Yeah. Yes. Hannah, Chris.
It sounded like he was saying Hannah and Christian.
Yeah, Hannah's on.
Are on. I'll try and call in without doing a Zoom.
Hannah's on her iPhone.
I am.
Hannah
Hi,
is on. She could talk.
I'm here.
You're much
Can everyone?
clearer.
Oh, good. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm happy to give a little overview. So, I am the Vice President of Development of Smith and Hensey Advisory Group. We have worked with Regan Development, the rest of his development team. Hang on, I think my headphones just died. Hi, I'm back. Sorry, my headphones died. I've worked with Larry and his team on a number of projects over the last few years, and we're excited to be a part of the Lion Factory project. As noted previously, the Lion Factory is the adaptive reuse of an existing structure at 750 2nd Avenue in Troy. And the one condo will be the residential condo with 151 residential rental units. And the ground floor unit will be maintained as a commercial condo unit, which we expect to have approximately 3 tenants of that space, one being the existing tenant who will use approximately 11,000 square feet of space and will retain approximately 7 jobs and create approximately 23 new jobs, and that's across all of the commercial spaces. The rental units will be affordable to a range of household incomes and including some market rate units. I can get into details of rent if that's interesting to folks. I'm happy to do that. And I'm trying to think if there are any other details to include here. Chris, I don't know if you would add anything at this point, or I can help answer any questions or cover anything that the folks would like to hear.
No, Hannah. Hi, I'm Chris Babcock, counsel for Larry Regan. I don't think I have anything to add, Hannah. I think you hit those are the general bullet points.
Great.
Can you guys hear me now? It's Larry.
Can, Larry.
All right. I just called in on the just on the voice. So, Hannah, I think you summed it up pretty good. I just want to add, this project has been approached very organically, though we started with an invitation from Christian and his family to try and help them as tools for redevelopment, working with funds from the state and private equity tax credits. And we sat with the mayor and Steve and the assistant mayor and staff before we even thought about this. And then we had meetings with the community. So the community, especially up in Lansingburg, is well aware of what we're proposing. Christian and had gotten some very positive feedback that this was a good reuse for the building, and everybody's in favor of it. We didn't receive any negative comments from anyone locally in the community. We do already have all of our planning and zoning approvals, and we're hoping to apply for funding from New York State as soon as they, early next year, as soon as they get clarity on where things are headed with the budget with COVID. But we're very excited to proceed. And again, I want to apologize for everybody for my technical difficulties, but we're open to any questions and details on the financial package.
Chair?
Jim, was that you?
It was. May I speak?
Yes.
Hey, Larry and others involved in the project, could you please go over the affordable program? And I noticed it's some market rate. Could you give us a breakdown on those apartments? I was at the Lansingburg meeting, and I know I heard what David Erkilian said, but I'd like to get a breakdown from you guys on what the plan is.
Sure. There's currently 151 apartments. We have one full-time live-in super that is compensated through, the free rent on the unit plus an additional compensation in the form of salary. We do have other superintendents and porters, but they're not living in the building. But so the 150 out of the 151 units are rented to a mix of, we banded the incomes starting at a lower end of 40% to 50%. The majority of the units are up at 60%. About 84 of them are at 60%. 18 are on the next band, which goes up to 90% of median. And then we have a band at market rate. It's a smaller band. It's 4% of the units, but we do have a market rate component, which we added, which we feel that we will rent based on the market study and market data we got back. We listened carefully to Steve, the mayor, and others at the meeting when we sat with them not to place the rents too high. So the rents for the one bedrooms are ranging from $727 to $880. Those are the affordable rentals. The two bedrooms in the affordable rental range are from the 40 to the 60% are $873 to about $1,200, and then the 80 to 90% units and the market units range from one bedrooms at $967, and the two bedrooms are running around $1,192. So we kept even the market rate and the moderate, which is up to 90% of median units, at a rental number that was reasonable, so that the area where we are in Lansingburg can grow into the market. And we do this quite often on our developments, where we don't go in with a two-bedroom rental or a one-bedroom rental at $1,500 or $2,000, where we're pushing the envelope to get new renters into the area where we're looking to do the redevelopment. So we're looking to help Lansingburg redevelop itself, repopulate itself with working people who are in the bands that we're looking to serve, between mostly in the 60 to 90% band. And we don't want to have a market absorption issue where we're struggling to rent the units, because that's what we heard from Steve and the mayor. We wanted to keep the rents at a reasonable level. So these are all 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. We have no 3-bedroom apartments, but that's pretty much the layout of what we're looking to do and achieve. On the commercial side, we're very pleased that Christian and his family are going to stay into about, I'd say a little less than half of the ground floor commercial space of the 31,000 square feet. On the other space, we're looking to do the same philosophy. We're looking to do maybe some office type of shared office space, or maybe some innovative. I'm trying to work a program locally with some of the educational facilities to do a shared culinary kitchen, where people can come if they don't want a home kitchen in their businesses, but they do sell items, to the public, and they need a Board of Health approved kitchen facility. We're toying with this concept of doing a shared kitchen where people could rent out the kitchen for an hour or a day, and then they can use the kitchen and be able to sell their products. So it's sort of a food incubator that we've been toying with, and we think it'll be good for a fair amount of the balance of the space. And then, we could do some other type of offices, typical offices, to try and sort of really get the commercial redevelopment of 2nd Avenue and Lansingburg moving in that sector, because it's a little quiet there. So that's what we had in mind on the commercial side. But I'm open to any other questions, or if I didn't answer anything in detail that you'd like, I'm happy to respond.
Chair.
Yes.
Larry, on that food incubator program, that I find that very interesting as we sat down and tried to think of how many uses you could use that building for. Will there be any inside amenities like a small restaurant or coffee shop or any advantages to the tenants in the building? Will there be anything there that will help them and resource options for them? I know like a coffee shop might be a great idea.
I agree with that. I think if we can find a demand and we can organically find a user with working with the local Lansingburg commercial community, that would be a perfect use. As long as there's a demand for it, that would, we would love to do that. And I think it would play off the food incubator, maybe, maybe even a little, public store that could sell the products that, this could really be a draw for, commercial type of tourism where you're bringing people in like you'd bring them to a restaurant, but here you're bringing them to maybe sample some of the products that would be produced at this, shared kitchen. So it's a work in progress. I think it's a really winning concept, and I think if we can underwrite it at a low rent to make it affordable, either on an hourly, on a daily basis for incubator food businesses to participate in, this could really be a winner. And if you all have any advice for us or any guidance that maybe we could link up with any of the local community colleges or, any of the public, better than we do who we should be linking up with to build this design. We would build it out ourselves. I probably would take this on as a project on our own and develop it under our own banner, but we would need the guidance of hopefully the commercial community in Troy to help guide us on how to be most successful here.
Thank you.
Can you answer a question of the 151 units? What percentage will be affordable, and what percentage market?
So the affordable units, which we define up to 60%. Let me get my numbers. So,
Larry, I have that easily if you want me to answer.
Go ahead. Yeah,
Sure.
go ahead, Anna.
So of the 151 units, and obviously one of those is a super unit, 90% of the units are affordable between the 40% to 60% AMI range.
So the range, Hannah, the range of the up to 90%, there's 18 out of the 151, right? And then there's the balance or market.
Correct. So the percentages get confusing, so I'll just restate it hopefully to be clear. So the affordable units, which are affordable to 40% to 60% of area median income, that constitutes 90% of the 151 units. The middle income units, which are 80% to 90% of AMI, makes up approximately 12% of the 151 units. And the market rate units are approximately 4% of the total units.
And we put it together in that percentages based on discussions with Steve and the mayor, but also trying to work a financial pro forma that creates a successful submission to HCR to do a 4% tax credit transaction and to make our request for funding and stay within the limits and guidelines of the funding programs we're looking to serve. So, it makes it difficult for us to do more market rate under the tax credit program and under the other financing programs that HCR, HFA have if we go beyond that amount of market rate and middle income for the percentages we have.
And I'll just clarify what what our position was we wanted to try and get a broader mix of market rate in there as well. So we didn't get down to the actual accounts based on what I saw coming in. We said, what more can you do? And again, they were constrained by the pro forma of the project to, they weren't able to come up to more of what we look for, a broader mix, but this is, so it's like 135 units affordable out of 150. And then the balance 15 is 90% in market.
Can you tell us what?
Do you have a pro forma, Steve?
I don't yet. So that's what we would get now. You know, you're authorizing this, you're authorizing me to negotiate with this, and then we would put that
So you
together
don't get
between
it.
now
Oh,
and the
okay.
next meeting.
All right.
Stephanie, you had a question?
I was just going to ask, what would the capacity have to be for rentals in order to get to a point where it's successful? That's a lot of units to rent.
That's a good question.
That's correct. So we have done a full market study showing that there is ample demand within the bands that we've created. The market study was again updated. So we've done it twice at this point. We know that Troy's been very successful in doing some of its other projects downtown. So the update did take into account the new projects and then other projects in the area, including ones that have been done across the river in Cohoes. So we're very comfortable. Even I think the question is a good one, or the comment is a good one. Is there absorption? Is there enough absorption in the market in Lansingburg to cover for 151 apartments? And we believe the answer to be yes. Based on you know, the bands that we've created. And that's also why the bands are, and the amount of units in each band is where it is, because we were mirroring where the market study was guiding us to go.
How long do you think it would take to stabilize?
So usually on a project this size, we build in a longer stabilization period. So, you know, I think we're probably looking at an absorption of about 10 months here. That would go beyond, you know, a marketing period that would start well before we're done with the construction and TCO, but it would take us out 10 to 12 months for absorption, you know, just in case it comes to we're renting 6 or 8 apartments a month beyond the initial, you know, big hit of, let's say, 70, 80 apartments when we occupy. It'll give us time, and our financing partners on the tax credit side, our equity partners, along with HFA on the bonding side of the project, require that we build in a longer absorption period to cover any of that, and our pro forma, you know, reflects that in making sure there's a large enough carry and interest cost to make sure we're in good shape. So this is not our first go around with a project of this size. We're sort of used to this, and we like to build in a long absorption period as well, that if we rent up quicker, it's to everyone's benefit. But if it takes a little longer, we have that conservative budget to reflect that, and the interest is there to pay everything as we go.
Nash, I think you had a question. You keep
I did.
got the mic on my.
Thank you. Very perceptive. Let's see. I was wondering if you could speak a little bit to the process for renting the, say, a 60% median. Who verifies the income? Is there income verification process? Who does that? And then what happens when their income goes up and they're still living there?
Absolutely. So the way this project would work is we would have a permanent staff person based on site taking the applications, or online taking the applications, because that's pretty much a lot of what we've seen over the past 2 years. Everything's really gone to online, but we do a rigorous, background checks, credit checks based on recent changes to the New York State housing law. We do whatever we can do. We do criminal background checks, and then based on that and on a detailed application that an applicant would fill out, we would qualify them based on the guidelines of the program, both for the LIHTC or for the middle income rental guidelines. We would collect their tax returns, their W-2s to make sure they have the ample income to support the project, to make sure they're not over income or that they're not stressed by being under income. And at that point, we internally approve the application. It goes to a third party review it's accompanied by that's called Spectrum. And Spectrum is a national company that reviews all of these type of LIHTC applications. They review it and they double check everything, make sure that they're within the guidelines, making sure they qualify, and that they're the right type of applicant that we're looking for, which is, we're looking for that moderate to middle income person that has a steady flow of income through working, and that could contribute to the well-being of the building and the well-being of the Lansingburg community. After that, the application is approved by Spectrum. It goes to the people down in New York at HCR, and basically, everything is sort of triple checked for that everything is properly done. As typically when we're doing the marketing for this, we would work with the city and the guidance of any of the local community members, the council members for the area. We basically market to all of the businesses, the local houses of worship, the community groups, to try and make it as organically a Lansingburg and Troy rent up as possible. We'll also, we put marketing materials together, which I left a package with the mayor and Steve when we first met with them to give the city and the local leadership and yourselves an example of the type of marketing we do. Typically we're currently marketing and renting up a project in downtown Albany, located at 526 Central Avenue. It's a similar project, though it's not a historic adaptive reuse. It's a new building that has pretty much a lot of the same funding sources. And then we also, just for everyone's knowledge, we own and operate a project in Cohoes off of Manor Ave that's called Lionheart, and that has about 72 apartments. That was a 9% tax credit application. This would be a 4%. But if you want to see how we operate and own our buildings, that project's basically right across the river from the Lansingburg area, driving up towards the falls and then up Manor Avenue, and then it's right up in that section.
And then just to follow up on what happens if someone gets a raise and they're already in the building?
Sure. Yeah, I'm sorry. You did mention that. I apologize for not answering that. So once a resident in the building is qualified to move in based on their initial year one income guidelines and job, they would be able to stay even if they went over income and over the qualified tax credit limits. So it's based on an initial occupancy. Though we do require, and the state requires, recertifications of each tenant every year, annually. If they do go over income they're allowed to stay, so they're not forced to leave. It's not a program like that.
And their rent remains the same?
Oh yeah, the rent always stays the same. The rent is always based on where we are in year one. We assume that the rents are going to go up 2% a year, but we can't raise them more than what we're told we can raise them by under the CPI. It's based on every year the state will send us a guideline on what percentage of rents we can raise or what percentage of rents we have to lower the rents. So it's based on the median income annually for the county where the project is located. Unfortunately, if the median income goes down 4 or 5% in the next year or so because of the COVID-related impact on the economy, our projects across the board, including this one, will have to reduce our anticipated rents by that level. And it's unfortunate, but that's how these programs work. So though we're limited on what we can raise our rent by what we're told by HCR, we're also exposed to lower rents because we're not going to be able to get that bump in the income, median income increase. So there, I think the rents would remain where they would be from the year before. I'm not sure whether we lower our rents. I think they just remain where they were from the previous year.
Thank you.
Chair,
Yes.
2 questions, Larry. The first, you just mentioned median income of the county. Are these apartments based on the median income of the city or median income of the county? And the second thing I'd like to get an answer to is, once the project is up and established, 151 apartments is a lot of apartments. How do you protect those apartments from additional people coming in to live with people who you've already rented to? How do you protect that from having additional people in the building living there under somebody else's contract or there's somebody else's income?
So those are 2 good questions. I'll answer the second one first. So every year when I mentioned there's a recertification, so the recertification process done by our management company requires that every apartment as a family or an individual provide who's living in the apartment. There's inspections that are done, and the person has to sign a certification that it's limited to the number of people that were signed in the original lease. So they can't come in and add more people. It's just not allowed. And the guidelines of the tax credit program limit the number of people that could live in the HCR has guidelines and rules under the lease that they approve that limit the number of people in a 1 or a 2-bedroom apartment. And since we have no 3s here, it's just 1s and 2s. So you're limited, basically they limit to like 1.5 person per bedroom. So they understand that issue, that they don't want, 7 people living in a 1-bedroom apartment or 6 people. And this is a pretty standard situation where we're very much on top of that issue. As far as your first question, could you repeat it once more? I'm talking too much.
During your conversation, we talked about median income. A few minutes ago, you just mentioned that it was median income based on the county.
Oh, right.
So I'd like to know if it's county or city, because there's 2 very different numbers there.
Correct. So these are federal and state programs we're going by. Both the LIHTC program under the IRS guidelines and the HCR guidelines all use all use the county median, not the city median. So that's how it's calculated for median income, the county.
So do you or if someone from the planning department may have a number, my guess is a relatively large percentage of renters in Troy meet that 60% median qualification. Does anyone have a stat on what percentage?
So I was under the impression that this was an area median income of capital region. That's what I've always figured this to be, which is like 54. And so that includes, Brunswick, it includes Niskayuna and Loudonville as well in it.
Right.
Am I wrong in that, Larry? That's what it's like, an area median income. That's
Area median income. Right. So actually
right.
the way that it is an area median income, it's an MSA for Albany, and I believe that includes Troy. Hannah, are you familiar with the MSA? I think it's
the Albany,
Troy.
Troy. That's all three cities, isn't it?
It's Albany, Schenectady, Troy, MSA. So it's
Exactly.
for a household of one, that's 54,000. I'm looking at the 2020 guidelines. For a household of two, it's 62,000. So so you're talking a percentage of those numbers.
And do you have a sense of what percentage of Troy renters fall within that 60%, say?
I would say, you mean, go ahead, Larry.
I don't need it.
No, go ahead.
If no one has it, that's fine. My sense is it's relatively high, and sort of what I'm getting at is, I think a large number of renters in Troy could use these apartments, and B, sounds like in terms of the rates, they're even the 60% median rates are relatively competitive with what the mom and pop landlord, not in a nice apartment building necessarily, but what folks are just getting on the open market now. So I wanted to get a sense of sort of your marketing or process. Do you find that you're tapping into the general renting population, or do you market explicitly to affordable as affordable?
No, I think a lot of the market for these apartments is the affordable bands that we're looking to, target. Is where the market is in Lansingburg today.
Right.
And then as Lansingburg improves and redevelops, and that commercial strip on 2nd Avenue gets more and more upgraded, and all of those improvements that I know the city has been contemplating up in the area are going to be accomplished successfully. We're looking to build in and be able to strengthen the market with those moderate apartments. So we're not looking to push the envelope, but we are looking, I think, to answer your question directly, it is where the market study is taking us is that most of the apartments are the market rate is now. So, and we were also cautioned at the meeting with Steve and the mayor initially that, they were worried about absorption, and we didn't want to make an issue by putting the rents at a level that couldn't be accomplished and successfully. So we kept, it is a large project, and we kept it at the rents which work for the programs, but also which seem to be where the target market is looking to be, and, not being too aggressive with the development financial model.
Great, thank you.
How many square feet are the one-bedroom apartments?
So they're usually around, so let me see. These are, there's a couple different sizes based on it's a big building, but I think we're looking in the 800 square foot range. And the 2 bedrooms range some at 1,100, and there's some that are even larger. So they're comfortably sized apartments.
Hey, Larry, we had a question in the group chat. Is there parking at this facility, or will there be parking?
Right, so that's a good question. There's a lot of parking. We're acquiring and have even acquired already, along with Christian and his family, a couple houses in the rear of the building to expand the parking and egress for the residential. So though we're not going to target it, the planning board and the zoning board have approved the project for an anticipated parking in the back of the building for the residential, but in the front of the building, we're also retaining and upgrading Christian and his family's 2 lots that are on the western side of 2nd Avenue, and improving those and targeting those 2 lots for the commercial users on the ground level. So that wasn't even anticipated when the planning board passed their approvals. We were able to work with Christian and put those into the project, because I think we really want to create a commercial vitality on that first floor beyond what TAG Uniform is going to have, and we needed more parking for that. So I think there's more than enough parking that there won't even be any on-street parking for any of the residents that are in the building, nor for any of the commercial tenants.
Thank you.
Chair,
Yes.
will you set any limits on how many cars or how many vehicles a resident of an apartment can have? Or I'm just curious because some people.
Well, I think we can't tell people not to have 2 cars if they want to park a car in somewhere else. You know, I can't limit. I can limit usually we limit in the lease that a resident can have 1 car. If there's room for a second spot and we have them available, we can, with their request, grant them a second spot. However, basically, you know, we can't restrict how many cars they're going to have, but we find typically in all of our developments that, you know, especially the ones that are on a transit-oriented project, and this one, you know, the bus stops right in front of the building, and there's a great bus system, as you all know, that runs, you know, north-south and you know, just where we are.
As well as the rapid transit.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sometimes we won't even, you know, a lot of the residents won't have cars, so we don't even get to 1-to-1 normally. So you know, and I think we should be fine here. Well, we can't restrict how many cars someone has by, you know, we can restrict how many spots we give them, and that we do.
Since the project's already approved, we're just trying to get an understanding of how financially feasible it is and all that. But Steve, can you just outline for us what the proposal is between the IDA and the project?
Well, right now, am I unmuted? Yes. The proposal right now, this is an initial resolution. So this is your, as I hate to say it again, but the first bite of the apple, and come back with the project. We'll come back with a recommendation. So right now I don't have a proposal for you. I don't have anything to present, and that would get presented at the next meeting.
But Steve, we can sort of lay out for everybody, if you'd like, where we are with our numbers now, or do you want me to wait? Or do you want us to wait till the next meeting?
I mean, if anyone opposed, I would say wait till the next meeting, just because we're slightly running out of time.
No problem.
Justin Miller, do you have a question? Do you want to say something? I saw you muted yourself.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea for Steve, myself, and then the project team to schedule a call and exchange some numbers and assumptions over the next couple of weeks, and then we'll have an articulated pilot proposal for both units for the October cycle.
I agree.
Do you get copies of their financials?
We get the pro forma. What Justin, are we?
Yeah.
I don't-
Yeah, we'll have their project pro forma and then their assumptions on low-income housing tax credits, and then generally, where they're budgeting per unit on a tax cost for the residential side, and then we'll have an analysis on the commercial side as well for the existing tenancy and the projected new tenants in the commercial section. There'll be two pilots. They'll look a little bit different. The housing pilot will be sensitive to their overall project budgets for development on the apartments, and the commercial pilot will have to follow whatever the assumptions are for that particular unit.
But you get financial information on the organization.
Yeah, to the
We would be
extent,
happy to provide that.
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right.
Hey,
We
can
could
you,
send Justin and Steve our Regan Development financials. No problem.
Okay. You get personal financial statements and all that too, right?
Sure. That's not a problem at all.
All right. And can you where's the location of this Cohoes property? And what's the name of it again?
So it's called Lionheart Housing. It's a 72-unit family development. It's called Manor Sites Avenue. It's a side road that's off of Manor Avenue that runs up east-west from the falls. And then you go up, and then there's Manor Sites. You go up and you go around the housing authority property, and then we're up, having nothing to do with the housing authority property, but we're up behind it. And it's 3 buildings with a community building in the center. If you'd like to go, you could, I could either meet you there because I'm up in the area quite often, or I could have our property manager show you through, or you could just go and drive around the property, whatever you'd like.
Okay. I mean, does Steve have all your information to set something up, or?
I certainly
sure.
do.
And then,
yeah.
Right. And then if you wanted to see our project in Albany is we just got our TCO yesterday. We're occupying for October 1, but that location's located at 526 Central Avenue.
So I would say definitely if I would love to tour at least the Cohoes location. I don't know if Jim, if you want to go, or Sue, or anybody wants to join me, and Albert, that would be great to set something up.
Sure, I would enjoy that.
So email me after this.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. And one more question. You have a property management company. What's your annual fee?
So on a project like this, the management fee would probably be between 6 and 7% of the fee of the rental, which is, we're limited by what the management fees are also limited, under the program guidelines from
most of
HCR
what you're saying is breaking up, Larry.
You can't hear me?
Most of that broke up, Larry. We didn't hear that.
So HCR limits.
I can now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
HCR limits the fees to probably between 6 and 7% of the of gross rental income.
Okay. Great. And so I'll just jump back. If anybody wants to go on the tour, please email me, because I don't remember everybody who's.
I would be interested, and I will send you an email to remind you.
Yeah, if you want to do a group, I'm happy to meet you, and we can, it'd probably be a half hour, just total. It wouldn't be a long, trip, and I'll do it.
Everybody email me. We'll coordinate a. Yep.
All
I
right.
have one more question.
Yes, Jim.
Why the necessity for 2 applications, 2 pilots? I'm not very familiar and I'm not very educated on pilots. So if you could help me, I'd appreciate it.
But that was Justin. Do you want to answer that, or do you want me to take a stab at it?
I think it'd be good if Justin Miller. Yep.
Yeah, I'll take a quick crack at it, and then if I summarize it wrong, you can certainly jump in and provide any additional detail. The financing structure and the legal structures for the affordable housing components of the project will involve regulatory agreements and fairly sophisticated and detailed financing structures for the tax credit equity investors. So for purposes of keeping the commercial side clean, if you will, and separate from the financing and cash flow analysis for the residential side, they're going to condo the building and keep the commercial on the first floor separate with its own assumptions. That leads us to where we are with 2 applications. The commercial unit will stand and speak for itself, and the residential side will have its own specific pilot. And if Larry or anybody from the team wants to clarify that, that's generally my understanding.
Yeah, that's correct, Justin. It also has to do with, this will be a tax exempt bond finance deal. So it has to do with the allocation of costs from bond proceeds. And it's just a lot easier and a lot cleaner to allocate those costs if you condo out. You know, you have 100% residential rather than decipher what costs went to residential and what went to commercial. So it's a very standard thing to do if you have a large commercial space on a tax exempt bond finance project.
Yep, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the education. Appreciate it.
I have a question on that front too, I guess. How locked in is each of those spaces as we move forward? You know, sounds like we're well on our way, but there's a lot of feedback that it's a lot of units. If new commercial uses came forward, how complicated would it be to sort of switch which parts are condoed? Would we have to go back to the drawing board, or can we move forward now and let that develop as it may?
I think we set the commercial as the full ground floor level, not the basement. The basement has though the basement has windows, though we have units that would be code compliant, you know, with full light and air and egress in the basement, along with our community room and community facilities such as laundry, offices. So that's on the lowest level. The ground floor level, we've used everything for the commercial. It's not anticipated that we would do more commercial on the second floor or going up to the higher floors. I think that would, you know, the program that we have, there's an interesting quirk in the tax credit codes that we can't do more than a certain percentage of commercial in a tax credit building. Chris, do you know that rule offhand? I forget the percentage, but
off the top of my head, I want 10% of the floor space. I think it is. It's 10 or 15%.
Even with this condoizing structure.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. We're limited. You know, we can't do more commercial in the building if we're going to do a tax credit deal. It's sort of a quirk. It's a silly rule, but it's a rule that's there, and it would, you know, kill the whole residential side of the project if we went over the percentage. I'm not sure of the exact percentage, but we're about, you know, we're about where we are right now.
concerning, but thanks for the info. That's a higher pay.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions right now for Larry, Chris, or Christian, or Hannah? All right. Well, want to thank you folks for presenting that. I think Steve. I think this is for informational purposes. Steve, we need a motion for anything, or is it a motion for you to continue moving forward with this? You're on mute, by the way.
We're going to need a motion on each of them, a motion to approve the initial project resolution for item 3 and a motion to approve the project resolution for item 4. 2 separate votes.
Okay. So we will start with item number 3. Is there a motion to approve the initial project resolution for Line Factory?
I'll make a motion.
Who was that?
Stephanie?
Susan?
Susan. Is there a second?
I'll second it. This is
Anasha
Anasha.
seconds. Any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Moving on to line item 4. Is there a motion to approve the other initial project resolution for Line Factory building?
Make the motion.
Anasha made the motion.
Second.
Jim seconds. Any opposed?
And I'm going to say, when you vote, could you raise your hand on your screen too?
Any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Well, I want to again thank Larry, Christian, Hannah, and Chris for their time. Appreciate the presentation and look forward to working with you.
And we do the same. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Take care.
All right. It seems like it was forever ago, but Steve had discussed the executive director's report. I know Larry was able to get some service again. Not sure if anyone had any questions regarding the executive director's report. All right, I'll take that as a no. Mary
And I'm
Ellen?
just going to jump ahead and say I have no old or new business. So that just because we've got the other meetings to do after this.
Okay. And then I'll pass the mic over to Mary Ellen for an update on the financials.
Okay, our first report is the statement of financial position. As of 8/31, our total assets are $686,000, with $499,000 of those assets in cash. Our liabilities stand at $14,000, leaving us with a fund balance of $672,000. There's no real changes to the statement of financial position. The next report is the statement of activity for the month of August. We have a $144 deficit. The only source of revenue was interest, and there were no out of the ordinary expenses.
Great.
I got a question for you on the balance sheet. You were telling the last meeting that the receivables are past due pilots.
Correct.
So
since
can we see a list of those? I mean,
they're no longer past due, we have now collected all of them.
oh, okay. I'm just
Okay,
saying in
but
the future, if it's something outstanding, can we see?
typically we don't have it. I think because of what's happened this year with COVID, a few of our pilots had trouble paying.
Oh, okay.
But now they're all current.
Yeah, they're all current for the county and city. Now we've moved into, as of September, we've moved into the school pilots. So next month's may look like there's some outstanding.
Are we projecting for
At
those
this
pilots
point,
to
I
be?
can't project because the majority of them don't even become late until the end of September.
And is that 30
So they
days? Is
have
that 60
time.
days?
I'm sorry?
How many days past due at that point are they?
At the end of September,
Yeah.
they would only be late by 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. All right.
Does it make sense? Maybe we should, I don't know how many there are. We should be proactive and reach out to them.
So we typically do throughout the month. And right now, because we're really only 3 days past, we're just kind of waiting to see them get posted. We're still having checks coming in.
Okay.
And I would say for the most part, we do pretty good getting these pilots on time with a few parking garage exceptions.
Do we charge late fees if they're late, or we
Yes,
do?
we do.
Okay, and we're still
Okay.
charging them despite COVID and everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, those are statutory, Justin. Just a 5% penalty as of the due date. And the statute also requires a 1% per month thereafter. So Mary Ellen's been good about making sure that those are paid. And once the penalties and interest are collected, they're not the IDAs. Those are distributed to the taxing jurisdictions.
All right. Thanks, Mary Ellen. Any other questions regarding well, we have a motion to approve.
I had one question.
Yes, Anish.
Are we or should we add the expected increased value of the MLOC parcel onto the balance sheet, or did that already happen?
We don't really do that unless it gets sold. So when it goes on the balance sheet, it goes on as the value it is at that time. Until we sell it, we don't increase the value. There'll be a gain if we sell it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Is there a motion to approve the financials?
Motion.
Jim motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Anasha second. Any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. All right.
Aye.
That was slightly longer than we expected, but much needed. The meeting is adjourned. So do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
But don't anybody leave. But
I'll
don't
make the
anybody
motion,
leave.
Susan.
Sorry, don't nobody leave. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion, Susan.
Susan, is there a second?
Second, Anasha.
Great. Any opposed? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Steve, I think we wanted to jump
We
into.
should probably, let's jump into the CRC real quick. The CRC meeting, and then we'll go into the two budget and finance meetings.
All right, let me pull that up.
So CRC is just the minutes and then the finance. So item 1 is approval of the minutes. Well, I guess you could call the meeting to order.
Yep. I'm just pulling it up and waiting for it to load. All right. It's now 11:16 on September 18th. Calling the order of the meeting for the CRC meeting. Today, September 18th. The first line item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the June 19th board meetings. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion, Rich.
Rich motions. Is there a second?
Second.
Jim? Any
Second,
opposed?
Sue.
Oh, we had a second with Jim, but we have a third with Susan. Is there any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Steve, anything to add on the executive director's report here for line item number 2?
No. No.
Okay. That was fast. Mary Ellen, like to report the financials on this?
Sure. First report is the statement of financial position. And as of 8/31, our total assets are $580,000. Our total fund balance is $579,000. I'm sorry, 580. No changes to the balance sheet. The second report, the statement of activities for the month of August, we have revenue of $14, interest, and normal every month accounting charge for $229,000, giving us a deficit of $215 for the month of August.
Great. Any questions for Mary Ellen regarding the financials presented? Is there a motion to approve the financials?
Motion.
Jim motions. Is there a second?
Second.
Anasha seconds. Any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Steve, is there any new or old business you would like to present?
None.
All right, that was a quick meeting. All right, is there a motion to adjourn the CRC meeting on September 18th?
Motion.
Anasha motions. Is there a second? Susan, was that
Second.
Susan for a second?
Yes.
Any opposed? All in favor?
And
Aye.
again, don't leave anybody.
All right. So yeah, we'd like to call the budget and finance meeting for is it CRC and IDA?
Well, you can call them both, I guess, at the same time.
You want me to call the IDA first?
Yeah, let's call the IDA.
All right. I'd like to open up for the budget and finance meeting for the IDA right now.
Okay, so the purpose, sorry. Ready? Sorry, I jump ahead of you.
Yeah, no, just unfortunately I'm only working on one screen today, so I have to close out and open up the other ones.
Well, I'll bring it up on the screen. Okay.
Yep.
So the purpose of these two budget and finance meetings is just to give everybody a quick pass at the our 2021 budget, which needs to be adopted at the October meeting. So I'm giving everybody a little background. There's a lot of assumptions on here and a lot more finalization that needs to occur. If you look at your screen going across the top, we have 2019 actuals, 2020 end of year estimate based on what we've spent so far and either averaging, adding in the last third of the year or what we anticipate coming in. This is the column that we're going to be approving, although we have 22, 23, and through 25 on there as well, all as estimates. At the bottom of this sheet, and I'm sorry you can't see it, these two rows here. Is that not changing on my screen? I don't know why
you're moving it, yeah.
Okay, it's not moving on my screen. You see there's two rows at the bottom that are highlighted. That's just our cash position with an actual end of year and then estimating where we stand. And as long as those numbers stay positive, we're in good shape. I will send this sheet to everyone at the end of the meeting as long as the CRC one as well. So I've sat down with Mary Ann and we've estimated our numbers. And again, so running through this quickly, you can see our actual end of year numbers. The first 95,000 is charges for services, which is the fees that we receive from doing pilots. And this year has been an extremely slow year. We've received one for the St. Augustine project, and we anticipate being able to hopefully receiving 2 more this year, Riverwalk, 171 Riverwalk, and DeFazio's, although for this time I have calculated that to be $95,000. Let's see, professional service contracts, so that includes $100,000 that we give to the city, as well as legal, audits, and finance numbers as well. And other non-operating expenditures, that is the project money that we put towards the 701 River Street project. So this number here is offset next year by the sale of the property, as well as an increased sale price that recovers the amount that we put into the project, as well as this initial sale price of that property. So this is 2021. And again, I'm estimating $200,000 across the year for fee incomes each year. I believe we used to put a little higher number in there. I think we've gone as high as 250 or 300 in there in the past. But I think 200,000 is an achievable number next year. With the sale of the property, obviously, professional service fees, non-operating expenditures, that is the cost share we have set up with the local development corporation when they put a deal together for us. So in the past, that has been 444 River. It has been the 4th Street Rosenblum project, which is, by the way, about ready to open. And if anybody wants to take a tour of that with me, let me know. And then other non-operating revenues, I think I said the wrong thing. Other non-operating expenditures, I'm sorry, the 61,700 is for the wayfinding that was previously approved. So the design is nearing completion, and the IDA is going to fund that so that we have wayfinding in the downtown and around the city. And the share fee is this one down here, which is the $60,000. These numbers here are going to be zeros. So I'm just going to change those right now because I copied them in for the fee share with the LDC. So basically, that's a rough pass. I will send this to everyone today after. And as well as the CRC one, there's no vote today. If you have any questions on it, I'd be certainly happy to entertain them now or afterwards.
Are there any questions for Steve?
No.
Do we have to approve this? No.
We don't have to do anything. We could just,
okay, just for informational
adjourn
purposes.
The meeting. Yep, we could adjourn the meeting.
All right. Is there a motion to? Do we have to do a motion to adjourn it?
Yeah.
All right. Is there a motion to adjourn? I think Jim said yeah.
Sorry, did we have to approve the minutes from the last audit and finance? They were in there.
Yeah, we should do that. I'm sorry.
You rarely get an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, you should approve the minutes.
All right, hang on. Let me find that. All right, so what Steve presented was just for informational purposes. We are moving on to the first item of the agenda, which was to approve the January 17, 2020 and March 20, 2020 minutes. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion.
Jim motions. Is there a second?
Second.
Yep, Susan.
I think Richard's second first. Is there any opposed?
Abstain.
Natasha abstained.
I abstained too because I wasn't there in March.
And I wasn't there in January. Can we do them separate?
Sure. All right. Let's start from the beginning. Is there an approval to? Is there approval for the January 17, 2020 minutes?
I don't think we're going to have enough to do it.
No.
I'm not looking at them right now, but I think we'll just have to certify them, the January meeting minutes, because all I've got is Anasha and Rich if he was there.
I was absent. Stephanie and I were absent, so.
Okay, so we'll just have to certify those.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. How do I do that then, or is that something that you guys do?
I think we'll put it in the record. And Justin, what do you think? What do we have to do to? We don't have to vote or anything on it, right? We just have Danae certify them.
Yeah, Danae certifying is fine.
Okay. So just Danae needs to certify those minutes?
Yeah, she'll certify them. They'll go up on the website that way. So there's no vote.
So there's no vote on the minutes from January 17, 2020 and March 20, 2020. That's it for the agenda for the audit.
Do we have? Okay.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Jim motions. Is there a second?
Yep, second.
Anasha, second. Any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now I'd like to call the a meeting for the budget and finance for the CRC. Let me pull that up.
And I think we're going to have the same issue most likely with that. So we'll just certify. We'll certify the minutes.
What is quorum?
Quorum's 5. Are you looking at them?
Yeah. No.
I have too many screens. I don't want to open up another one to look at the minutes.
Yeah, I think we only have 4. Don't worry about it.
Okay. So I'll just go quick.
Yeah, Steve.
Okay, I'll go quickly into this. This will only take a minute because there's nothing here. Okay, Steve Stratton has started screen sharing and it's not sharing. Can you see anything?
Yeah, we can. At least I
We
can.
can see it.
It's not on my screen. Okay, so, but that doesn't matter because I've got it over here.
It
Same
is sharing.
format with the cash. It is sharing, you can see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Same format. There's not much to it. 2020, our big revenue was from the RPI refinancing, the 496,000. And then all those rows across are the annual fees that we get for having any outstanding financing come into for our outstanding bonds. Operating revenues, this is just interest income. So this is 2020. I'm just going to go right into 2021. For next year, our income is anticipated to be $3,000. Our professional service contracts are 10 for the audit, legal, and monthly accounting. And grants and donations, this year we had the COVID grant, we had the 100,000 for Franklin Alley, and I'm drawing a blank on what the other one is. Kingfield's Powers Park. Well, we had other littler ones too. Powers Park. So that's the 200,000 there. So for next year, I just estimated $50,000 per year in grants going across. We have no policy set up on that or for making grants. I know we did some work when Heidi was the chair on setting up some guidelines, and but that didn't develop further. So anyways, I've got the 50,000 for that. So for total expense line here, just shows where we anticipate being at the end of year for each year through 2025. Obviously, we'll be looking for other opportunities for financing, for income, and I'm sure we'll be getting other proposals for grants as well. So that's it. If anybody has any questions, again, this is not for approval. Actually, we could adopt this one today if anybody wanted to. I don't think those numbers are going to significantly change.
Should I call for a motion to approve these numbers then?
Well, if we're going to do the other one next month, can we do them the same month so that they're kind of parked in the same place?
Sorry, that's yeah.
All right. Are there any questions for Steve regarding this budget? All right. Thanks, Steve, for presenting that. I don't think we have a quorum in order to approve the minutes from the January 17, 2020 or March 20, 2020 meetings. So Danae will just certify them.
I'm sorry. I think I've got a bad internet connection. I didn't hear that whole thing.
So say we don't have quorum to approve the January 17, 2020 or the March 20, 2020 meetings. So therefore, Danae will have to just certify them. Great. All right. Well, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion.
Anasha motions. Is there a second?
Second.
Jim seconds. Any opposed?
Jim second. Yeah.
Jim second. Any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This
All
time
right.
we are allowed to go away, right?
This time we are.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
All right.
everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
All right.
See you soon.
Take care.
Take care.
Have a great weekend, guys.